The Bible talks about many things out in this life that will bite and devour us and try to destroy our ability to live a godly life. There are several that jump out at you as you look through the Proverbs, for example. Let's talk about a few of these things and look at what is the antidote to these deadly bites. First one I'd like to talk about is this deadly bite of pride. Pride is one of those things that we can get so caught up in ourselves, it will take us down. In fact, the Bible talks about this very specifically in the Proverbs. Proverbs 16, verse 18 says, "Pride goes before a fall." You're bound to fall if you don't get an attitude adjustment so that you don't think you're most important. You don't think your ideas are the best. If you don't understand how life should work in a godly attitude, you're going to fall. And so we are warned about this same attribute over and over and over again throughout Scripture. Now, if you're going to take the antidote to this, it means you've got to have an attitude adjustment. And it doesn't mean that you think less of yourself, that I'm a terrible person in that sense, but it's been said you should think of yourself less, or think of yourself less rather than think less of yourself. And I think that begins to point at the idea of what is the attitude adjustment that's needed here. Well, the Apostle Peter gave an antidote. So let's look at the antidote for just a minute, which can be found over in 1 Peter chapter 5. We'll begin in verse 5. In fact, we'll look at a couple of verses here. 1 Peter chapter 5, here's what it says. It starts with a quotation from the Proverbs. It says, "God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble." And so we begin to see the attitude adjustment for the antidote is humility. So he says, "Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time." So it shows what's got to change is what is most important in your life. In fact, who is most important in your life? It points out very clearly, God better be first and foremost in our thoughts, in our mind, in our actions. He's got to be the ruler of our life. He's got to be sitting on the throne of our life, and we're not sitting there, but he's there, so that we're under his authority in all these things. And so Peter sets the tone. The attitude adjustment is stay humble. How many times in Scripture are we told that? Over and over and over again. Now let's begin to take that antidote and make sure it's a daily attitude adjustment, that we stay humble and void that bite of pride. That's BT Daily. We'll see you next time.